Hi, I'm Barry Sahajian. I'd like to talk about the famous blues bass line. So basically it is a root, third, fifth. In addition to the root, third, and fifth, you have a double chromatic approach to the fifth. Root, third, double chromatic approach to the fifth. There's a lot that can be said about the double chromatic approach. It's used in many places. It's used in jazz a lot. And one place a very famous bass player used it quite a bit was Rocco Prestia in Tower of Power. His lines were all about that double chromatic approach. It also can be used in solos, and it often is, you know. I want to show you something creative you could do with this, just from this line. So the basic line is, now watch, I'm going to go all the way up the top of the neck. I use it to the fifth, then I'm going to go up to the root, do it again. And then to the third. Then to the fifth again, from the fourth to the fifth. Then back to the root, an octave higher. And then I'll use the same rhythm as the line. Now this line is a little more of a challenge than most blues lines, and it has some things that will really help your right hand technique as well. I want to talk about the technique now of playing this line. So you can play it a couple of different ways. So you have, that would be using position playing, a finger for each fret. Now playing it this way has its difficulty because you're using your third finger, which is typically the weak finger on your left hand, and it takes a lot of strength, and it's a little bit uncomfortable to play. And when I play it, I won't play it like that, because if I had to play this line for any length of time in a song, for 3 or 4 minutes, for instance, I don't like it. It feels uncomfortable, to be honest with you, but sometimes I would use it. But in this case, because it's so repetitive, I want to play it an easier way, and how I would do that would be like this. Shift up, and then play on your left hand, first finger, second finger, and fourth finger. That is so comfortable, and no way I'm going to be strained by playing that. You have to add a shift there, which is against my rule of economy of motion, but then it balances out because it's a lot easier on your hand. So you have to shift the first time, shift up to the third position. Then you have to start, when you start over, you have to shift down to the second position. I can play that fast and for a long time, and it's far more comfortable. Very simple. Another thing is the time. So it's so you have 2/8 notes, a quarter note, and then the rest of it is 16th notes. To make this line sound good, you have to have those 16th notes as steady as a rock, you know? I have 3 other variations of that, because the thing about this line is it's so repetitive. If you were to play that for 3 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever the song was without any changes in it, it would wear on your listener a little bit. And you have to really make some changes on it. But the line is so solid you can't really go that far away from the actual line. But you have to do something to make it not be monotonous. So I have 3 variations I'd like to show you. And then you start putting them together, and if you play them 3 minutes, 4 minutes, it starts to sound well. And not only that, it becomes more enjoyable for you to play it and more of a challenge than just playing a line that can put you to sleep. So the first one would be, I make a variation on kind of the second beat. Let's go for the first variation of this line, but first I'd like to play the original line so you can see the difference. The first variation is simply playing a short note on beat 2, like this. Now let me play those 2 back to back so you can see the difference. You can play the variation throughout the whole progression, or you could just throw it in randomly, but however you use it, it gives a variation and makes the line have a little character and more interesting. On the second variation, I changed the rhythm entirely on the second beat. Instead of playing the original line, I changed the second beat entirely. I changed the rhythm. Okay, the character of the line changes a little bit, but not enough to cause a train wreck in the song for the other players that are playing top of you. It just enhances it by providing just a little bit of a difference, and it works perfectly. Third variation is kind of a combination of the 2 first variations. And that would be, okay, I play a short note on beat 2, and I change the 16th note rhythm on beat 3 by dropping one of the 16th notes. What happens on the 4 16th notes on the third beat is because you drop off one of the 16th notes, there's a rest in time, 1/16th, and that really changes the sound of it just enough so it'll make it more interesting and give it more character. I'll play the original line and the third variation back to back, and you'll hear how much more interesting it makes it. If you like these videos, please subscribe, like, leave a comment, hit the bell to be notified of the upcoming videos. And I'd like to remind you that I have notes and tabs and play-alongs on my Patreon page, which will be on the video description down below. You can download them and play along with them yourself.